Aaron Burr, pretty colorful person in American history. He tied Jefferson for President of the United States.
It was the last year of the vice presidency of Burr in which he shot Hamilton. So it would be the election of 1800 and 1804 would have been the last year.
This one could have been made by a guy named William Hart with the Hart inlays here.
Usually marked on the barrel. Okay, wait, William Hart.
I didn't see that.
He was known to make guns in Fredonia, New York.
The first real customer steps in with an 1861 half-eagle gold coin passed down from his grandfather, and Rick instantly locks in. Civil War-era gold will do that. The seller mentions it might have a Charlotte Mint mark, and Rick's interest jumps immediately. That's the rare version collectors hunt for. Corey jumps in telling him to be careful handling it, while Rick explains that if it's authentic, this tiny coin could easily turn into a 5-figure discovery.
You have to realize it was finally that period we were getting away from all these foreign coins. Believe it or not, up through the 1860s, we were still using like English coins, Spanish coins, all sorts.
All right, it's an old coin. Quit touching it. There's a black thing down there. Put it on that.
Rick shifts into history mode, explaining how Charlotte minted coins using local gold during the 1860s. Many of those pieces were later melted down for trade, which makes surviving examples scarce today. The seller admits he isn't sure what to ask for, and Rick warns it's one of the most counterfeited US coins ever made. Still, the excitement is obvious. He calls in coin expert Mike to verify everything before anyone talks real money.
Oh, this is cool. You know why they call it a half eagle?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, it's a $5 gold piece, and our standard gold coin was the eagle. That's what everyone called it, and that was a $10 gold piece.
Oh, okay.
The incredible cool thing is, generally, you never see one with a C on the back of it.
While waiting for Mike, another seller brings in antique whiskey bottles, one cobalt blue, the other a purple glass decanter. She proudly explains they're hand-blown, and Rick immediately recognizes the brand and era. He describes how these companies sold whiskey through mail order after the Civil War. The deep color makes them stand out, especially for collectors who focus on unusual glass pieces.
Good.
Got some bottles for you.
All right, sweet, but nothing in them.
Because I love my bottles and I don't want to give them.
Oh, we have Casper's Whiskey, made by honest North Carolina people.
The seller asks $500 for one bottle, but Rick spots a chip that hurts its value and drops his offer to $250. She argues it's part of the original mold, but Rick disagrees. After some back and forth, they land at $300. It's a quick, practical deal. She leaves happy with cash, and Rick walks away with a collectible that still has resale potential despite the flaw.
It's well over 100 years old. It's hand-blown.
Now, did you know that the purple glass, why it turns purple?
Why is that?
Because magnesium was taken out of it in the 1900s. And they put sulfur in it. After that, they don't turn purple no more. Sun's what turns that purple.
Back in the shop, Rick is still fuming about his missing change jar. Chumlee tries defending himself by claiming he only used the coins in Rick's own soda machine, as if that balances everything out. Rick stares, unimpressed, and shuts it down fast. The logic isn't working, and he makes it clear the jar is off limits from now on. The shop dynamic stays loud, chaotic, and very on brand.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
You're stealing my change.
I'm not. I just took some change out to get a soda from the soda machine.
That's taking my change, chum.
You don't understand.
Mike finally arrives to inspect the half-eagle and immediately recognizes the Charlotte Mint Rarity. He compares mint numbers and explains how much scarcer they are than Philadelphia coins. Under magnification, he checks for tampering or fake marks. Everything looks right. He confirms it's authentic, and the mood shifts instantly. Then he delivers the number, around $15,000 in this condition, leaving the seller stunned.
A guy brought in an extremely rare 1861 half-eagle. That is, if it's one of the few minted in North Carolina. So I called in my coin guy, Mike, to take a closer look, just to make sure it's not a counterfeit.
What's up, Rick?
1861 Charlotte.
That's a rare one. 1861 Philadelphia. There was over 700,000 of those. We're talking $500-600.
Negotiations begin quickly. The seller asks $12,000. Rick counters at $7,500, explaining grading risks and resale margins. They move back and forth until Rick reaches $8,000 and holds firm. After a moment, the seller accepts. He leaves planning home upgrades, while Rick secures a rare Civil War coin that could turn into a strong, long-term profit.
Okay.
Awesome news.
So what's it worth?
In this condition, I would say on a good day, You could get about 15,000 for this coin.
15? So me having this in my pocket earlier was not a good thing then.
Not so much.
Duly noted.
All right, beat it, Mike.
Next item, a large Dr. J signed sneaker from the 1970s. Chumlee is fascinated by the size alone, while the seller explains he got it personally from Julius Erving after transporting the team. There's even a photo supporting the story. He wants $2,000, but Chumlee stays cautious. The signature reads Julius Erving, not the nickname collectors often expect.
Excuse me, can I get some help?
What's up, dude? I have here a one-of-a-kind item. It's a Dr. Julius Erving signed game-used sneaker from the 1970s. Oh, right there, huh? Yep. Dude, I could trace over this for you and make it darker.
The seller insists it's authentic, though he has no paperwork. Chumlee calls in autograph expert Steve Grad to verify. While they wait, the missing change drama continues. Corey admits he borrowed a few coins and even left an IOU, which only frustrates Rick more. The old man finds it amusing, treating the whole situation like normal family behavior rather than theft.
Coming out of high school, he wasn't even recruited. I mean, he just literally enrolled at UMass and just started dominating. When Dr. J was in school, he was averaging 32 points and 20 rebounds a game. And that was unheard of. So I would love to get this shoe.
The argument escalates into full family chaos. Rick complains about boundaries. Corey defends himself, and the old man casually admits he'd take coins too if he wanted a soda. Rick looks completely defeated as the rules blur further. The jar situation has officially become as dramatic as any deal happening at the counter.
Rick, I got a business to run here. I ain't worried about your damn piggy bank.
I've collected change like this for years, and now every time I go to put change in it, there's less change in it.
I'm not your piggy bank keeper, son.
Who am I supposed to collect it from?
I don't know, seeing as how you're my father, I figured you'd recognize my handwriting.
Steve Grad arrives and studies the sneaker's autograph closely, comparing ink flow and letter formation to verified samples. He confirms the signature is real. However, there's no solid proof it was game-worn, which limits its value. He estimates it around $400 to $500. Chumlee nods, appreciating the honesty even if it lowers expectations.
A guy came in with a signed Dr. J basketball shoe from the 70s. It could be a sweet investment. Now Steve's here to take a look. What you know about Dr. J?
I know a lot about Dr. J. I mean, really one of the greatest nicknames of all time. I mean, he revolutionized the game of basketball. Just absolutely ferocious dunker.
Chumlee offers $400. The seller counters at $800, and neither side gives enough ground. The seller decides to keep it for his grandson instead. No deal, but no regret either. Sometimes sentimental value beats the cash offer.
I have a good sign to tie these two things together when you're looking at the game-used item. But, you know, you look at the bottom, there's really not a lot of use on this. Could these be game-used? It's possible. Could I go on a limb and say that? I can't, but I'd say that all signs kind of point towards that.
Rick returns later to find his old jar replaced by a literal pink piggy bank. Corey and the old man are clearly proud of themselves. Rick asks where his money is, and Corey casually explains they used it to buy the new pig. The label on it, Little Ricky's Piggy Bank, says everything. Rick looks completely defeated.
Oh, nothing. Where's my jar? Where's my jar?
Should be right there.
This is not my jar. This is a bad joke.
I think it's a good joke.
I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, why do I find that hard to believe?
Rick asks again about his missing cash, and the old man hands him Corey's IOU note like it solves everything. Rick walks off frustrated while Corey grins, proud of the prank. The old man tosses out one last joke as the scene ends. Another day closes at the shop. Rare coins, missed deals, and family chaos all rolled into one.
And here, so you can get started, got that for you.
What's that?
That's the IOU item, and the other one. Anyways, Pops, you're welcome.
Yeah, enjoy, son.
Whatever.
You gonna go find a new hiding spot?
Bye, Piggy.
The episode opens with instant tension when a customer walks in holding what looks like a toy car, but it's actually a 1969 pink rear-loader Beach Bomb Hot Wheel. Rick immediately recognizes the significance, calling it the holy grail of Hot Wheels collecting. The seller confirms it's a prototype and drops a huge asking price of $150,000. Rick is stunned. You can tell right away this isn't a casual sale. This is a collector-level moment with serious money on the line.
Prepare to be amazed. The rarest Hot Wheel
wheel in the world.
Is that what I think it is?
The pink 1969 rear load beach bomb.
That's the holy grail of Hot Wheels, isn't it?
It sure is. It's in mint condition.
Rick gets nostalgic, talking about how Hot Wheels defined childhood car culture for his generation. The seller casually mentions he owns thousands of them, reinforcing that he knows exactly what he's holding. Rick realizes he's dealing with a serious collector, not someone guessing value. That shifts the tone. This won't be an easy negotiation.
These are the original surfboards that go with it.
Yeah, that was a ragtop Volkswagen, Volkswagen Transporter. We call it a bus, but technically it's a transporter. I know a lot more about Volkswagens than I do Hot Wheels.
Rick calls in toy expert Johnny to verify the piece, making it clear he wants professional confirmation before even thinking about an offer. The seller stays confident, insisting the car is unique. Rick knows if it's authentic, it could be one of the most valuable toy items to ever pass through the shop.
Hey, what's up, Rick?
Oh, pretty good. Well, you supposedly know this guy?
Hey, what's up, Bruce?
How are you?
He has this, supposedly it's,
It is. Wow.
this is supposedly the greatest, most expensive Hot Wheels ever.
Meanwhile, Corey and Chumlee handle another item, a pair of 1970s Weltron UFO stereos. The seller explains they were part of her post-divorce celebration, giving them a personal backstory. Corey admires the retro design, while Chumlee jokes about being used to modern music formats. The vibe is lighter compared to the high-stakes Hot Wheels situation.
These are 1970 Weltron UFO stereos, and these are actually two different models. This is the first model that came out that has the 8-track, and that came out the same year, a little bit later with a cassette.
The seller asks $3,000 for the stereos, but Corey quickly brings expectations down, pointing out they're novelty pieces despite their cool look. After testing them and negotiating, they settle at $550. It's a practical deal. She gets cash, Corey gets quirky inventory, and the shop keeps moving.
Button is right here. We can kind of hear a radio there, a little bit, FM, AM.
All right, so it works. We'll go ahead and turn it off. So,
Yeah.
what are you looking to do with these?
Well, I'm going to sell them.
Okay, what are you looking to get out of them?
Back to the Hot Wheels centerpiece. Johnny arrives and carefully inspects the car, immediately identifying it as the pink rear loader beach bomb prototype. He explains how Hot Wheels disrupted the toy car market and how rare this specific model is. His excitement confirms this is no ordinary collectible.
A guy came in with an extremely rare Hot Wheels car. I know it's worth a lot of money, but I don't know if it's worth over $100,000. I mean, it's a toy car, so I called in Johnny and I'm getting his opinion.
Johnny examines the details under magnification, pointing out casting differences and features unique to prototype versions. He confirms it's authentic and estimates the value at around $100,000. Rick reacts with a mix of excitement and caution. This is valuable, but still a risky investment.
Get here fast enough. This is the rarest and most sought after Hot Wheel in existence.
All right, so this is legit.
This has changed the industry of collecting Hot Wheels. Nobody thought that anybody could make an impact on Matchbox. Matchbox dominated the diecast market.
Negotiations begin with a massive gap. The seller sticks to $150,000, while Rick opens at $60,000. They move slightly closer, but neither side bends enough. Rick eventually reaches $70,000 as a final offer. The seller refuses, choosing to keep the piece. No deal, but a major collector item just passed through the shop.
So what are you looking for?
This is a different base than the early production ones. So this is definitely the prototype. And there's certain things in the lettering, bumpers, even like flaws in the casting that are only available to the prototypes in the early productions.
The mood shifts to comedy when Chumlee announces he's writing a memoir. Rick is unimpressed, joking that people usually write those after accomplishing something. Chumlee insists his life is dramatic enough to qualify, turning the moment into another classic back and forth between the two.
I'm reading Sammy Davis Jr.'s memoir. Why? There's a lot of people out there with really interesting lives, and it's fun to read about it.
Kind of like my life.
I imagine your life is pretty boring, actually.
A new customer arrives with an etching attributed to Rembrandt. Rick is intrigued immediately and gives a quick explanation of etching techniques and states, noting how earlier versions can be extremely valuable. The seller hopes it might be an early state and worth a significant payout.
This is an etching by Rembrandt.
Where did you get this?
I have some awesome friends who decided I was worth it, and they gave it to me for my birthday.
Okay.
It was a landmark birthday, and I won't tell you how old, but it was over 30.
Rick explains that if the piece is from an early state, it could be worth far more than the seller expects. He calls in art expert Brett to confirm. While waiting, Chumlee keeps working on his so-called memoir, continuing to irritate Rick and keep the shop atmosphere chaotic.
And they would press the paper into it, so the spongy part would go into those valleys and suck the ink off. And you'd pull it off and you'd have that's your etching. The one problem was, though, copper is really, really soft, and when you squish it a lot, you start screwing it up. So they could usually only get 100 or so prints off.
Brett arrives and examines the etching carefully, explaining Rembrandt's influence on printmaking and emotional expression in art. After studying it, he recognizes it as a later print from the Millennium Edition, made using the original plate but produced centuries later. The seller's excitement fades quickly.
A lady came in with an etching by Rembrandt that could possibly be his mother. I need to know what state and what the value is of this etching. And if anybody will know, it will be Brett. Oh, Rembrandt.
Fantastic.
Brett confirms the piece is legitimate but not created by Rembrandt himself, placing its value around $1,500 to $2,000. Rick offers $800, factoring in resale margins. The seller declines, deciding to keep it for personal enjoyment instead. Not every item turns into a payday.
I'm looking at the plate marks. The plate marks are very clear, so it's definitely an authentic etching.
Yes.
And I do believe it's from the original plate. The size is appropriate. You can see the embossed mark, so it is a pressing, I believe, from the original plate.
Back at the counter, Chumlee proudly presents his memoir, titled The Book of Chum. Rick flips through it and finds blank pages. The old man laughs at the absurdity, while Chumlee insists the title and cover are the main idea for now.
Dad.
What?
Banging it is not going to make it work.
Book's done.
Book's done.
So, overnight you finished a book.
Yep.
Let me see the cover.
You don't want to see it.
Chumlee continues pitching alternative titles, trying to sell the concept as a work in progress. Rick is exhausted by the nonsense, while the old man shakes his head in amusement. The episode ends without a massive purchase, but delivers plenty of humor, rare collectibles, missed deals, and the usual Pawn Stars chaos closing things out.
Sure, huh?
You look like that Manson guy.
Let me see the book. There's nothing in it.
You know what they say, Rick? You judge a book by its cover, and that's one hell of a cover.
They don't judge books by their cover.
There's gonna be some good content in there too.
And what's the name of this book?
Well, it's a working title right now.
The episode opens in full Pawn Stars chaos, with the guys arguing over the greatest prank ever pulled. Corey brings up movie pranks, Chumlee throws out nonsense, and Rick shuts it down with a history lesson about War of the Worlds and the panic it caused. The conversation is loud, messy, and instantly entertaining.
It got me thinking about the best pranks ever. Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin, he just gets over on those guys time after time. And that's the funniest prank movie ever.
If you want to talk real prank movies, Borat.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny movie.
The first customer walks in carrying an antique cigar store countertop lighter from the 1920s, and Rick immediately locks in. The nickel finish, the mechanism, even the reproduction batteries catch his attention. When it sparks to life, everyone jumps back a bit. It's functional, heavy, and clearly built for durability. The seller wants $1,500, and Rick's already weighing risk, resale potential, and how niche the collector market might be for something like this.
What do we have here?
This is an antique cigar store countertop cigar lighter.
Do you know what year it is?
About 1920, 1930, right in there.
Okay.
What happens is you've got this little wire at the end that jumps a spark to the rim of this reservoir, which originally would have been gasoline.
Rick acknowledges the lighter is in strong condition and historically interesting, but he stays grounded in pawn shop reality. Cool items don't always equal fast profits. He opens at $900. The seller pushes higher, and they go back and forth briefly. Eventually, they land at $1,000. It's a clean, straightforward deal. The seller gets quick cash, and Rick gets a unique collectible that could appeal to the right buyer down the line.
So this is basically a cigarette lighter / stun gun. Back in the early 1900s, big lighters like this could be found anywhere people bought and smoked cigars. But eventually, big lighters like this went out of fashion because they were always just a novelty to begin with.
Back to the shop antics, Corey proudly reveals his latest prank on Chumlee, painting a message on the back of his truck telling people to honk if he looks like a walrus. Rick bursts out laughing. It's petty, childish, and exactly the kind of ongoing prank war that defines the shop's daily rhythm. These moments show how the workplace feels less like a strict business and more like a chaotic family constantly trying to outdo each other.
You gotta check this out, dude. Chum and I have a score to settle. I tried to prank him with a fake lottery ticket and it backfired.
You think your little fake lottery ticket fooled me? Come on, big hoss.
So I'm getting him back, and I thought I'd show my dad how I was doing it.
Wave if you think I look like a walrus.
Next, a seller walks in with a check signed by Aaron Burr. Rick instantly recognizes the historical angle and dives into a quick explanation of Burr's infamous duel with Alexander Hamilton. The seller cleverly asks for $2,010, joking Rick should pay with a Hamilton bill. The humor lands, but Rick knows history alone doesn't guarantee value. Authentication will decide whether this is a collectible gem or just an interesting piece of paper.
Very good, thank you. I have a check from Aaron Burr I'd like to show you.
Okay, that is definitely cool. So, Aaron Burr used to be Vice President of the United States. You know Alexander Hamilton, the guy in the $10 bill?
Yeah.
This is the guy that killed him.
Okay.
Rick calls in his document expert to verify the signature, pointing out the crossed out name and wanting professional confirmation before making any serious move. The seller remains confident, clearly hoping the historical significance will push the price up. Rick stays cautious. Years in the pawn business have taught him that convincing stories and convincing fakes often arrive together.
It says 3 pounds right here. What's that dollar value?
3 pounds back then was literally 3 pounds of silver. The equivalent of $3,000–4,000?
So this is a big check.
Your average worker maybe made 15–20 pounds a year.
The expert arrives and gives a brief history lesson about Burr and Hamilton before analyzing the handwriting and ink. He confirms the signature is authentic, but the valuation comes in lower than expected, around $750 retail. Rick's excitement dips slightly. It's still a cool historical item, just not the major payday he might have hoped for when he first saw the signature.
So I'm having my buddy Stuart take a look at the signature.
This is the item you told me about?
This is the item. This is an Aaron Burr canceled check. Very cool.
I own Stewart Let's Historic Documents, a firm that buys, sells, authenticates, and appraises historic documents. Rick trusts no certificates of authenticity.
Rick jokes about Burr's reputation hurting the collectible value, and the seller laughs along. It's a strange reality in this world. Historical notoriety doesn't always translate into higher prices. Some figures inspire collectors, others simply don't. Both men understand now that this item sits in that middle ground. Interesting, real, but not extraordinary.
I think something like this has a retail value of about $750.
I was hoping for more than that. A shame to hear.
Well, Aaron Burr sort of has a, for lack of a better word, a negative reputation in the collecting field, and reputation is collectability.
Negotiations begin. Rick starts at $500. The seller pushes back toward the expert's estimate, and they inch forward in small steps. After a few rounds, they settle at $610. It's one of those deals where neither side feels like they hit a jackpot, but both walk away satisfied. Rick gets a historically relevant item, and the seller leaves with money in hand and no regrets.
Well, is that just for the oil painting on the frame, or is that for the check?
Well, that's not an oil painting.
It's a reproduction of an oil painting, but the framing's already been done, and that's an expensive procedure.
Probably would cost me like $25 to get something framed
It's
like
listed as an antique wood.
Meanwhile, the prank war keeps simmering. Corey continues sending Chumlee on pointless errands, and Rick watches from the sidelines, amused but slightly concerned it's getting out of control. The shop atmosphere shifts again from business to comedy, reminding viewers that half the entertainment comes from the people working there, not just the items on the counter.
I painted something on the back of Chump's truck that will definitely get him a lot of attention. Now I'm sending him out on some errands, and people are going to be waving and honking at him all day. It's going to be awesome.
Things escalate when popcorn ends up scattered across the lot, triggering an immediate and furious reaction from the old man. His patience snaps, and he demands the mess be cleaned up right away. The playful mood disappears instantly, replaced by damage control and mild panic. Even the pranksters realize they might have pushed things too far this time.
Ah, what the son of a...
The episode opens in the parking lot with instant chaos as Rick calls out the old man for parking across the white lines like they're optional suggestions. Pops fires back, insisting older drivers are the safest on the road and claiming decades of experience make him untouchable behind the wheel. Corey rolls his eyes, clearly unconvinced, and the argument escalates into full family bickering. It's loud, petty, and hilarious. Exactly the kind of opening that reminds you this shop runs on equal parts business and family drama.
Pops, what? The reason we have those white lines in the parking lot, we're supposed to park between them, not on them.
Look, my damn parking lot, I'll park where I want to.
Okay, Dad, you're the person who gives old drivers a bad rap.
Inside, the first major item arrives, a 1965 Dan Electro Longhorn bass, once owned by John Entwistle of The Who. Rick lights up instantly, geeking out about the British invasion and the band's legacy. The seller casually asks for $50,000, explaining he needs the money for a new home. Rick nearly chokes. He loves rock history, but that price tag is serious. His excitement is real, but so is the caution, because sentimental value and resale value rarely match in pawn shop reality.
So what do we have here?
I have a 1965 Dan Electro Longhorn bass owned by John Entwistle of The Who.
Seriously?
One of his first basses that he ever owned.
That is amazing. The Who's one of the greatest rock bands ever. Do you mind if I pick it up?
No, go ahead.
Rick studies the bass closely, pointing out how clean it looks and noting the Sotheby's auction tag tying it to Entwistle's estate. The seller claims it may have even been used during early recordings, which only adds to the mystique. Unsure about its exact market value, Rick calls in Jesse, the guitar expert. Jesse confirms the instrument is authentic and explains why Dan Electro basses have such a distinctive sound and collector appeal. The seller's confidence grows by the second.
The Sotheby's auction at John's estate sale on May 13th, 2000. It's listed in the Sotheby's catalog.
All right. It's definitely cool, man. How much do you want for it?
$50,000.
American dollars.
Yes.
It's really important that they played it on a song, an album, on stage.
Jesse delivers the reality check. Without proof it was played on stage or in a major recording, the value sits closer to $10,000 to $15,000 retail. The $50,000 dream evaporates quickly. Rick offers $10,000, calling it a fair top dollar deal based on risk and resale. The seller refuses, unwilling to drop below $30,000. Rick shrugs and lets it walk. It's a classic Pawn Stars moment. Cool item, strong story, but the numbers just don't line up for a deal.
What's your song with it? And he's asking $50 now.
You know, if you were to find one of these in mint condition, it's probably about a $2,000 bass. Now, with the provenance of being John Entwistle, probably anywhere between 10 and 15, that'd be like a retail price.
This is one of his originals.
Next, a woman brings in something completely different, a 1968 Richard Nixon paper dress. Rick immediately starts cracking jokes, imagining the chaos of wearing it in the rain while shouting campaign slogans. The seller explains paper dresses were a short-lived fashion trend tied to political campaigns. She's hoping for $1,600, counting on its novelty and historical angle. Rick listens, amused, but it's clear he sees it as more quirky than valuable.
Well, it is actually a 1968 Nixon campaign paper dress.
I've seen the paper dresses. I have never seen a Nixon paper dress.
They were discontinued after a while because there were so many fire hazards, actually.
Oh, well, no, just imagine getting caught in a rainstorm.
Yeah.
Negotiations turn playful. Rick opens low at $300, pointing out Nixon memorabilia doesn't carry the same demand as more beloved political figures. They haggle back and forth like it's a garage sale. Small jumps, lots of jokes, and a steady back and forth rhythm. They finally settle at $360. The seller walks away relieved, and Rick jokes about storing it carefully. The entire exchange feels less like a serious transaction and more like two people laughing their way to a compromise.
When you get campaign stuff like this, it really depends on how popular the president is now. If you had a Kennedy dress, it would go for more.
They didn't make Kennedy dresses, they made Nixon dresses.
It's different. I'll give you $300 for it. It's Nixon.
I know. It's also just very sentimental to me, so.
Yeah, I do not pay for that.
Can you do $400?
Let me give you $350 for it.